What is up, guys? Welcome to your 6th C++ tutorial. Today we're going to be building a calculator from scratch. So last time, quick review, we went over libraries, what they were. We used CMath to find the power of something, like 2 to the third power would be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And we can also use this library to find the square root of stuff and everything, but right now we don't really need it. We're just going to be building a basic calculator. So okie dokie. So what I have here is I have told the computer that I'm going to be building a function called addition, and it's going to return to me an integer value. So what this is remember review from our last video, it's a function prototype. Now over here is where I'm actually going to be building the function in between these curly braces. So now I'm going to teach you guys what is a function parameter. What a function parameter is, it's basically data that you can put into a function when you're calling it from your main function, and then it will use that data to do whatever you want in the curly braces. So it's better showing you guys an example, of course. So here I'm gonna have an integer a and an integer b, and of course if I change something to this, I'm also going to have to change it over here. So integer a, integer b. Okie dokie. Identifier I is undefined. What? Alright, there we go. It works now. That was weird. Alright, now we're gonna save this. Okay, so what I have here is I basically declared an integer a and an integer b that can only be used inside of this function. So I can go ahead and do a plus b, or let's return a plus b and close that off. Now remember what return does from our last video. It basically returns a value, and for example, if I would make an integer z equal to addition, here I would have to do two numbers which I would want to add. Here I would do 5 and let's do 6. So now what is this going to do? This is going to take 5 as integer a and 6 as integer b. Then it's going to go over here and return a plus b, which would give us 11. And now this is going to be 11, and it's going to be equal to z. So now if we print out what the value of z is, it should give us 11. And there we go. That is 11. Of course, we want to build a calculator that can take a user input. So we're not going to use like hard-coded numbers inside of this function. What we actually want to do is we want to name two variables. Let's call it x and y. Now we're going to prompt the user to enter two values that you want to add together. And then let's end that line. And now here we're going to actually take the user input. So we're going to store a value in x, and then we're going to store a value in y. And here we're going to use x and y as our values for the function. So now let's build this. And let's start without debugging. Here we go. The fun part. So let's do 10 and then press enter and 9. And there we go. We get 19. Perfect Neato. That's pretty cool, dude. So, of course, in a calculator, there isn't just addition, there's also multiplication. So, let's say, let's say we want to multiply something, right? All we would have to do is really go here. And remember this is really important. Whenever we want to multiply something in C++, we're going to use this symbol. Not that one, my bad. This one. This is the multiplication symbol, and it's pretty similar to other programming languages, so this is a pretty important thing to remember. So now, of course, this isn't going to be addition, this is going to be multiply. And then since we changed it here, we have to change it here, multiply. Multiply. This doesn't really matter, it's just the name, but it's just better if you keep everything consistent. Okie dokie. So now we do this, and if that's not really add, that's multiply. So let's multiply two numbers. 5 by 5 should give us 25. Okie dokie. So now we know how to multiply, we know how to add. This would be division right here, backslash. This would be subtraction, of course. Now, what if we want to take the square root of something? Now, that would be in this library that we used last video, CMath. And let's make a prototype for a function which would take the square root of a number. So let's name it, let's do an integer function, and let's have it, or actually let's do a double, because we haven't done a double function. Double square root. Okie dokie, that's our prototype. Here we go, double square root. And here we're actually going to build our function. This is going to change over here because this function no longer exists. Okie dokie. Now, if we want to take the square root of a number, we're going to need a number to actually pass into this function. So let's do integer x since we already have that. Or let's do integer a. Integer a here. And we're gonna pass in the value of integer x inside of the function here. Square root x. Okay, now we need to write something that a is going to do here. So what's going to happen to a? We're going to return the square root of a and close that off. Okay, so here we have an integer x, and here we should change this to enter a number that you want to take the square root of. And then this is going to take a number in for x. This is going to receive a number for x, and here it's going to pass it in as a. It's going to take the square root of it, and then it's going to return it into the value of z. So here, of course, we have a problem. The problem is, let's say I type in a number 55. Now, why is it giving us 7? We know that the square root of 55 isn't a whole number. Well, the reason that this actually is happening is because our thing that we're storing it into is actually an integer. So it's going to round down to the nearest integer, not round up. So what we want to do is we want to change this into a double. And now if we build it again, we start it, let's do 55 again. There we go. It should give us a decimal, and that's pretty accurate. Now if we do it on a calculator, let's test it out to see if it's actually the square root. 7.4162 times itself is indeed 55. There we go. And that's it for this video, guys. Next video, I'm gonna be going over. I really don't know what I'm gonna be going over, but it's gonna be amazing, dude. So make sure to check it out.